I am walking in one of the oldest city there is in Georgia. And not only is it the oldest city in Georgia, it is actually known for being America's most haunted city. And I'm not kidding you, because this city actually has a dedicated ghost tour. Yes, a dedicated ghost tour. So if you're ever in this area, you can actually go on a ghost tour. This city is so amazing and absolutely charming. As you can see, this is like one of the few cities here in the United States where you'll have like horseback riding, like the one that is going on ahead of me right now. Right there, that is so cool. But let's talk about this city being haunted. If you don't believe in that kind of paranormal stuff, if you ever visit Georgia or ever move to the South, I'm gonna say you will quickly soon start believing in that kind of stuff. I gotta tell you that for a very long time, I never believed that spirits are real until I moved to the South and I had my own encounters with spirits, okay? It is said that here in Savannah, Georgia, yes, that's where I am, Savannah, Georgia. It is said that this area is known for lots of wars and slavery and, epidemics, pandemics actually breaking out in this area where a lot of people have died, a lot of wars have been fought. There's a lot of unsettled spirits actually lingering around. And here's the thing, guys, there's a lot of forgotten graves that were built over. So right now, even here on the sidewalk or on the street, this road or even the highways were probably paved over graves. So those are just a few of the things that makes Savannah so interesting. So you're probably wondering, what does this 291-year-old haunted city looks like? If you're like me, I would be imagining something that looks like it comes out of a cemetery, but you'll be surprised to see how absolutely charming this city is. So I'm going for a walk around this amazing, beautiful 291-year-old haunted city, and I'm taking you guys along with me. So I'm actually on the historic side of Savannah, Georgia. This area is absolutely beautiful and breathtaking. And one thing about Savannah is to live here, it costs a lot of money. I'm talking about to rent down here can run you, I want to say, for a studio is probably around $2,000 and up. And you can actually rent, I'm going to say, anywhere from $2,000 to like $5,000 just to be able to live in the city of Savannah. And of course, it comes with its perks, because not only are you living in a part of history, but the city is also charming, They offer a lot of city tours that are free, where they will literally just take you around in they'll take you around the city for free. So you have it's not horseback riding, but horse carriages that also takes you around the city. Where do you see these kind of things, right? Is that in your neck of the wood? For example, look ahead of me. Now that's a horse carriage that is going around in the city as well. So all of these things, you gotta pay a pretty penny to live here. If you want to rent, if you want to own, we're talking about $1 million homes now. $1 million just to in the millions to live here in Savannah, Georgia. It is not cheap. It is not cheap at all. But this is absolutely a very charming city. I'm looking at those homes over there, just like what I've been saying before, guys. You see, well, just look at those homes, and I guarantee you those to rent over there is going to cost a pretty penny. As you can see, it still has its historic look to it. You could tell they didn't do much to it from the outside, but just to live in the heart of Savannah, which is where I am, definitely is gonna cost a lot of money. So if you can afford to buy a piece of real estate in this area, I'm telling you, you're lucky, you're blessed, okay? Because first of all, it costs so much to own anything in this area, and to rent, it's a good amount of cash to rent in this area. Just in case you're watching me for the very first time, I am Ayasa Talks. I love to speak about my trips, my travels, whether they're local or international. I'm actually from Jamaica, and what I really love about this area of Savannah, Georgia, is that it sort of has a mixed feel to it. It kind of reminds me of the Caribbean and up north all at the same time. What I really love about this area are those oak trees that has the Spanish moss dangling from the trees, and pay attention to traffic. What I love is that you see how these trees, how they grow over the road and create a shade. It reminds me of Jamaica. It reminds me of this area called Alan Bamboo, where the bamboo trees, where they grow up and they actually arches over the road. So that is what this area sort of reminds me of, except these are not bamboos. These are oak trees and these little moss that you see growing on the trees. You don't really see that. I've never seen that up north, but I do see that a lot up here. And I'm gonna show you these mosses. They are growing from the tree. It's unique. It's very unique to this area. I personally have not. I have not seen them anywhere else. Currently walking under one of these trees right now. They kind of reminds me of a bird's nest, you know, a bird's nest in the tree. But honestly, I just love these things. I've never seen it anywhere else. I've never seen it anywhere else but in Savannah, Georgia. Also, it feels almost gothic down here as well, you know? If you've watched the movie, what is that movie? I can't remember the name of it, but it has a very gothic feel as I'm walking along the street. So it's kind of interesting how this place makes me feel as I am walking along. It gives me a vibe of the Caribbean. It gives me a vibe of the South, a vibe of the North, and it also feels gothic in some ways. And maybe it's because of those dangling Spanish moss that is currently dangling from the tree. So perhaps that's the reason why I feel that way. I'm gonna go this way. Another interesting thing about the city of Savannah is that it has parks everywhere. I'm talking about like 22 squares. These are parks that is like allocated in different places in the city of Savannah, and you could just literally stop and, you know, just rest your feet if you're walking anywhere and you're tired, or if you want to go out on a date with your loved one, you know, you could always take them to any of the 22 parks. Here they refer to them as squares in Savannah. This is one of them that is coming up right now. So the city is really, really charming. Very, very, very charming. Right here we have Orleans Square. Thank you. I guess people are just chilling, taking pictures, having fun, just like me. Just like me. Look over there, guys. Those historic homes cost money. Oh, Lord. Would you want to live in the heart of Savannah where you have everything at your fingertip and pay $2, $3, $4, $5,000 for rent? Or would you prefer to move out into maybe the countryside where things are more affordable? I would prefer to put me in the countryside so I can get the most bang for my buck. But what do you prefer? Because everybody have their own preference, you know? This is my preference. I'm not a city girl. I am more of a country girl, you know? I like being out in the country with all the horse and buggies, the chickens, that kind of stuff. The pigs put me out there. I actually find country life to be very, very peaceful. Country life is peaceful. We just passed a square back there. Here's another one actually ahead of me. They're everywhere. There's like 22 of them all over the city of Savannah. It's really, really cool. This is a great place to visit actually. If you're looking for a place, say, to go on vacation, Savannah is a great place to visit. And not only that, they have the beach, Tybee Island, which is about a good 45 minutes drive away from here. So, yeah, pretty cool. Another thing is here in Georgia, in the city of Savannah, people find creative ways of making money. I don't know if you can hear the music playing in the background, but that is somebody playing their horn or their trumpet, you know? And you'll stand by and you like what you hear and you donate a little bit of money to that person. So people have very creative ways around here to make a living. All right, so even though I don't like to talk about all of this ghost stories, I gotta tell you, right? People say that they can hear voices depending where they are. Sometimes they'll hear voices. People say that they have been touched. They can feel that somebody's touching them, or they say that they also see things. Now, let's let the cop pass. They're passing. Okay. So back to my story. Back to my particular story. I was saying that I've also encountered those things down here as well. Never have I actually encountered these things before until I moved to the South, and that is when I woke up and I realized, oh Lord, these things are really real. So as much as we want to put them in the back of our minds and, you know, pretend like they don't exist, they do. So yeah, I have seen things. I have seen things. And more than once. Yeah. I have seen it more than once. And I think after I've had those encounters, I woke up and I said, oh my God, this is interesting. These things are real. I've also been in a situation too where somebody like patting on my bed, like patting, like hitting the bed, and I can't see it, but I can hear it and I can feel it. Now tell me, how do you explain those things, right? Never ever have I encountered these things until I moved to Georgia. The South, it's an interesting place. So yeah, those things are for real, man. They're for real. What is your story? Have you ever had those encounters before where you have seen things? I mean, they say that all over here in Savannah, Georgia, lots of graves that were forgotten, especially coming from the Native Americans that used to live in this area, their graves were forgotten, and all of this development is sitting on top of it, you know? Another interesting thing about Savannah, actually, let me go this way. Another interesting thing about Savannah is yeah, they're literally graves. I keep saying graves are everywhere, but what I'm talking about is you could be walking past a monument thinking, oh, who is this person? There's a statue. Who is this statue? What are they known for? And not realizing that the statue is actually centered right above their grave. So, as you continue reading and discovering, then that is when you will notice that this is, yeah, you're walking right past the grave. So, that is the interesting thing about Savannah. What this 291-year-old haunted city is looking like. Clearly it doesn't look anything like a cemetery, even though it is built on top of many of them, but certainly does not look like a cemetery. ladies and gentlemen, it is time for me to wrap up this video. I took you through a little bit of a walkthrough of downtown of Savannah, Georgia. Yes, it has a history of being one of the most haunted cities there is in the United States. I would say it takes first place in that. Clearly, it is the oldest city here in Georgia, which is 291, going 292 years old, and it is wonderful. It is absolutely amazing. It is absolutely charming. It is not probably what you imagine, which is old and Gothic, right? As you can see, the architecture, the infrastructure is a mix of old and new. I can tell that they try their very best to preserve the historic feel of the area by, using these types of bricks or cobblestones. I'm not sure what it is, but whatever it is obviously it has that olden look to it, and it is it preserves the history of this area. Now, right over there, that thing that looks like a seat, a chair, I am sitting here and I'm looking over and I'm saying that thing almost reminds me of a tomb. So I'm going to go over and read it to see if this is actually a tomb that I'm standing on. And it says, on this spot 173 years ago, James Oglethorpe, the founder of the colony, pitched his tent and here rested at the close of the day on which Georgia was settled, erected by the Georgia Society of the Colonial Dames of America on the 12th of AD. So yes, clearly right here, it looks like, based on what I'm reading, is the tomb of Mr. James Oglethorpe. James Oglethorpe, the founder of the colony, pitched. Yeah, he's the founder of this colony, and he pitched his tent and here rested at the close of the day on which Georgia was settled. So that's what I'm saying, guys. Honestly, like, there's so many tombs around here, and clearly they're everywhere. They're in the streets. You'll think that you're looking at a beautiful monument, but not realizing it's a grave. This is a grave right here. This is Georgia for you. This is Savannah for you, I should say. This is Savannah for you. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching my video. Please go ahead, like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so the next video that I upload, you will be the first to know. Yes, thank you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.